everyone have their phone silenced? Oh, we're missing Josh as well. All right, 5:30.
We're going to go ahead and call the October 21st, 2025 City Council meeting to order. I ask Councilman Lewis to lead us in prayer.
You stand, please. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Lord, as always, we thank you for the opportunity to be here today. As we know, each day is a gift that you have given us. It is a grace from you, Lord, that we are here, and so we want to use the best that you've given us each and every day, Lord. And so we ask that you shine a light through us, that you allow the Holy Spirit to come in and of course, cast light where there's darkness, hope where there's despair, and allow us to reach out to each brothers and sisters of the Lord, those that may not have the light. Allow us to shine through them. And we'll end this on Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, are there any agenda amendments needed? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and roll into the announcements. October 28th, we have a workshop for our chamber lease, which is the old City Hall building. November 4th is our next City Council meeting. November 11th is Veterans Day, so City Hall will be closed. And on December 2nd, we have a public hearing for a no-wake zone. We do not have any guests tonight, so I'll move on to our minutes approval. I'll call for a motion to approve the minutes of October 7th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Davis, second.
Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries 6-0. I also call for a motion to approve the workshop minutes of October 13th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion Smith.
Do I have a second?
Davis, motion.
Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
Aye.
That was Nancy. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna enter our public hearing for parcel 137R-044-043.001 at 533. Is there anyone here to speak for? Just please state your name.
And just for the record, this is parcel number, Hancock County Tax Parcel number 137R-0-44-043.001. It is a property located on Ballard Court in Bay St. Louis. It does not have a physical address, and it is owned by, I think Carrie Frigo's name is on Gia Portal, along with Mr. Keith Breland and a couple of others.
Yes. My name's Keith Breland, 216 Cary Court. About 3 months ago, I started trying to get it put in my name. That way I could have everything taken care of. And I went to a local lawyer, got the point, went to her. And she said it would take 2 or 3 weeks. So I gave her a month and went back, and evidently she had meningitis, missed a whole month of work. So then when I talked to her, she said, look, if you give me a chance, we'd go ahead 2 or 3 more weeks, I'd fix it for you. But in the meantime, I received a letter. My sister took it and ended up going to another land survey person, and they actually took it and filled out all the paperwork, and I had to get all my brothers and everything to sign it all over to me. And it's about time they all got finished signing it over. It was Thursday last week, and it actually, they said it is recorded in Hancock County, but they had to send the paperwork off to have it sealed. That's gonna take 2 or 3 days, and then it's gonna come back to me. So after that, it's gonna be in my name, and that way I can go ahead and, physically take part of the shed down and rebuild it, you know, the way it is. But in the meantime, went through 6 different people trying to get it cleaned up, 6 different contractors. And then the 7th one was kind of volunteer situation. And so he came the first weekend, we hauled off all the trash that people dumped back there. So, and then the second load, we hauled that off. And then last Friday, he was going down 603, and the car came off the Avenue B, flipped the back of his truck, and he flipped it. So now, I'm waiting for him to get transportation, but I could get somebody else in the future, but it's just been like that, you know, one thing after another. So, but we did clean up all the trash that people dumped back there in the shed that was to the right. Well, he did, because I got vertigo so bad I can't do it. But anyway, he removed the wood, the tin, and stacked it up, and he cut all the grass around the front. But was gonna get there's the RV park there, and it's insured and licensed. My yellow truck, it's an antique truck, it's got antique tag, and it's registered and all. And once my daughter finishes med school, this is her last semester, I'm planning on eventually rebuilding it in the future. But then there's a motorbike trailer that wasn't registered back there, they said, but it had a tag on it. Short thing, something happened, they lost the paperwork, but it had a tag. So when I went to renew the tag, same thing. Back and forth 3 different times. Finally, the lady said, look, she finally got it all figured out, all straightened out. She said, it's gonna cost you $38. Wrote the check for $38. She come back, she said, well, Hancock County doesn't have any trailer tags. I'm like, what? So it's just snowballs. And so that's where I'm at today. So it's to the point where I think I get to sit, she told me today on the phone, I'm gonna get the deed with a seal on, I guess, Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
And then it's all in my name, and then,
At that point, you'll,
then I could put money into it, do what I want.
Okay.
That's
So-
what I'm here.
so before, I guess we open up any discussion up here, do I need to ask if anyone else is here to talk about it? Okay, well, if it's just you, I guess we'll open up, I guess a plan of action here. I'm okay with personally giving you some more time to get it cleaned up,
Yeah,
knowing that you're gonna do it and some of the challenges you faced. I'm only one person, but like to hear
Yeah,
from those.
I don't mind speaking. Mr. Breland, thank you for showing tonight, and I can appreciate and sympathize with the string of bad luck is what it sounds like you've had. So definitely want to better understand kind of what the plan of action is, the time frame. You know, of course, this has gone on. When it's left in a condition like this, it doesn't just happen overnight. You know, it
No, it-
happens. It's a
it's been
continuation
2
year
or
on
3
year
years,
out.
but, you know, they call me, hey, you go cut the grass, and go cut the grass and, you know, fix it up. But I live right down the street from them, and about every 2 or 3 weeks I drive down. Well, they blocked off the backside of our condominium complex. So I go back down and look at it, and I was like, man, it does look bad. But as far as the roof, I was trying to get somebody, because the building, that was my dad. My dad grew up in a house in the front on Cary Court. And it's probably 60 years old, I guess, because I'm 60, and I can remember going back to my grandmother's house, and we always had a shed there. So I kind of want to restore it the way it is, just sentimental value. But like the outside, the walls, you know, that's just plywood, you know, it's rotted out a little bit. But I was worried about the 5 main structures.
Gotcha. And again, I appreciate you being here and taking ownership and
Yeah.
accountability of it, because we'd rather you handle this than the city have to. So,
Yeah.
what is your ETA in terms of, or your plan of getting this done? Do you have a contractor that's able? I know you've gone through a string of bad
Well,
luck
I've been
with getting
told
one.
right
So
now,
what-
the RV's been back there. It runs, you know, it looked bad, but when I have a property on the Jordan River, well, I need to keep that in case it floods, whatever, I move everything there, so it goes back and forth. But the plan of action is to, go ahead and finish cutting the backyard, put up 1 piece of tin on the back and try to fix the roof on it. But I got 2 estimates to rebuild the whole thing. So if it's too bad, I got 2 different people looking at it. If it's too bad off, which I just kind of wanted to restore it the way it is. So, if I could just clean up the yard itself, that won't, you know,
And you've got boats, vehicles, RVs that, based on the notice, needs to be removed. Mayor, do we have an indication of what that condition of that shed is to be restored versus being torn down?
I mean, you have pictures in your file of the shed.
yeah, the pictures look rough.
It looks like it's in pretty bad shape with the pictures, so I don't know if reinforcing it
Right. I don't think
would make it
Remember that our
address
building department does not go onto property.
it just from the outside looking at these pictures, it looks like it might be more than just, you know, a small repair for a
Yeah,
restoration.
well, I got an estimate to tear down the whole thing and rebuild.
Yeah.
So I got that estimate, but I had to have it in my name before I did anything.
Did anything with it? Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine put 18,000 in and all that? Hey,
Yeah, and it's,
so now, as I haven't received the deed, it is, they said it is recorded, which I don't know what that means. It must be in the courthouse and it is in my property, my name now.
I guess,
They probably just electronically filed it and they just haven't received it back, is what I would
Okay.
think.
Well, Mr. Brennan, I would advise as well if you know, because again, there's no structure. So if you were to rebuild an accessory structure, definitely go see Jeremy Burke and the building code, because we have ordinances and rules and regulations to rebuild.
Yeah, I was gonna go see
Yeah.
Rick, you know, yeah.
So just advise you on that.
Yeah, I was gonna do it without that.
yeah, it's definitely a hazard as it sits right now, so, if we can, as soon as you get the deed, you know, maybe we can, whatever we're comfortable with, giving more time. I know that's specifically in Ward 4, correct, Al?
It is.
So is there a timeline you'd like to give?
Well, it looks like, and Larry, please chime in too, as you represent all wards.
I was going to.
Yeah, it looks like a notice of additions or corrections was first sent on June 16th of 25. So this has been something that the neighbors and the individuals, residents in that area have been dealing with for some time now. So I'd like to see it expedited. Of course, we gave 30 days at that point in time,
When was that?
June 16th.
It was in
25.
June, yeah.
So he wouldn't have known because it would have gone to his sister.
Correct. So I would say, again, that notification gave 30 days to avoid further actions. Yeah, I'd be comfortable with trying to expedite that
Yeah,
and
but
get that
since
within
then,
30
we
days.
cut the grass and we hauled the trash off and all that, so
And- Sure, and I can appreciate that. There's still a number of concerns and issues.
what about the yellow truck?
Well, based on our current ordinance, if it's non-operable, we've got to
Yeah,
get that.
I mean, you can drive, you put gas in and drive it, but it's a collector item. The body's $9,000, I'm gonna put a new body and paint, and then it's worth like $100,000. So what,
So it runs.
yeah, you put gas in it, it'll crank up and drive.
But to be compliance with our property codes, the
But see, I
IPC.
was told that nothing's registered, the camper's not registered, the truck's old. No, the truck is old, it's a 72, it's an antique. It's got, he said, well, you don't have a tag on it. I said, well, it's got an antique tag on it. That's the only tag you need on it. So,
And again, based on we follow the international property codes, we follow our ordinances, that would not be allowed on a property that does not have a primary residence or dwelling. So again, it's outlined
So what
in this,
you tell me,
it is outlined in
that's-
this.
that's my property, and I can't store a car back there.
And we'd be
it's
happy,
been
have
there
you been in
for
receipt of the concerns and the issues? Have you been in receipt of this yet, Mr.
No, I
Mayor?
just wanna get it straight.
But
We
I'm
talking about the
asking,
RV,
but have you been in receipt of it? I just want to make sure we're on the same page, because if not, we need to make sure you're aware of what's being violated.
nah, because I was told, and when I explained, I said, look, it's got, everything's back there's insured. The RV's insured, the yellow truck's insured, it's an antique, and the trail is all insured. That's the Mastercraft ski boat that I went to pull out to go wash it, but, the shed fell down a little bit, so the ski bar won't fit out. But anyway,
Can we verify, Heather, has Mr. Breland been in receipt of the same violations? I know some of this is directed towards, looks like there's a couple of different previous owners, but
Well,
has Mr. Breland seen?
I mean, I would
violations?
think that he's received the same notices that you guys have in your packages, and he was
This-
also
this,
on the,
this is what I have right here.
And that should outline the
And,
direct
and
violation.
keep in mind, guys, this is a unique piece of property. This is a use that would no longer be allowed in Bay St. Louis, but it was probably, I don't know when this was built, but 70 years ago, it probably
Yeah.
was. Today, this would no longer be allowed. So it is a pre-existing use, which is probably the importance of why wants to keep the integrity of what is there so that he can restore it.
So if I enclose the shed, make it a full shed, and a park my antique truck in it.
Well, again, and so I would advise that you see administration on what you can or can't do based on the ordinance and the building codes. And Ms. Brent, and this is a fine line. I don't want to be up here saying what you can or can't do on your own property. I think that's a freedom, that's a right that you have. But when it impedes and impacts in a detrimental manner to others in the surrounding areas, that's where we step in. So again, I would advise you've got the letter, see what the ramifications and the issues are, and let's come to a good clarification and a resolution. Again, and Mr. Smith, I think you wanted to speak, but again, I would like to see something within 30 days of what the original letter was, giving you that notice as well.
So just cut the backyard and,
So,
There's a number of other
yeah,
items.
so on the notice that was sent, it has if you weren't here tonight and the city were to have taken action, it would have been the city will remove abandoned vehicles, cut the grass and weeds, remove the rubbish from the property, remove personal property which is abandoned, and demolish and remove the structure located on the premises.
so you would have demolished my trailer and all? How much is that? What's that, 20,000 you said?
I think, well, it's the
It's worth about-
structure, not necessarily what's
Probably
under it.
I probably got about $100,000 worth of stuff that kept that. Now I come out 80,000 a hit.
Well, and I think it's important for you to
I'm
protect
just
protect
picking
that
at-
asset.
I'm just picking at,
And
That's why we're glad you're here tonight, so we
I'm
can.
just picking at.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm glad you're here tonight, so maybe we can work towards a restoration and maybe get what, like Kyle said.
And so just for educational purposes, what we're here for tonight is a hearing under 21-1911, which is the council takes up whether or not to find that a property is a menace to the public health safety of the community. So with that being said, there's a couple options the council can do tonight. They can declare the property to be a menace. That doesn't mean that the city comes in with bulldozers. That means the city will continue to work with you to try to clean up the property, but the city would be able to come into if you couldn't come with an agreement or if you didn't clean up the property. So that is definitely an option that is on the table. I know that some of the concerns that have been reported by the neighbors is the fact that the shed is falling down, the top part of it. I think they're worried about neighborhood kids maybe going back there thinking it's a,
Hey, climb up there.
yeah, I don't know. I don't, there is a toy hanging kind of from
Well,
the
they also
the
told me
attic,
about,
but-
they also said about rodents. Yeah,
rodents were a concern. And there was a group of citizens
Now-
here a few meetings ago complaining about the
I
state of
live
the property.
on the other end of Cary
Hmm?
Court. I can't put a cat feeder outside because you have 5 raccoons eating out of a condominium complex. I got a guy that's here today that's counted over 20 in his yard, and he's four doors down from my shed. Unless it's a Holiday Inn or something for raccoons. And it's funny because when I was leaving one night, the raccoons come across the ditch and was running right to the yard. And I was watching, I said, man, that's not mine leaving my shed, I guess. But it's funny. I mean, it's not funny, and in many ways, I know it looks bad. And I could cut all the grass and all that, but the roof itself, I had a guy give me an estimate just to replace the roof. But, like I said, it wasn't in my name. But now, it's probably, I gotta really go back there and see what's in the shed itself and pull the boat out, go from there.
It's not, I'm just educating, and it's up to the council, what the council, they can do nothing and give you time, and we can reset this at a later date. Y'all can declare it a menace based off of the information that's been provided today. It's totally a decision to be made by the city council.
We have several people in the audience here that are from the Cary Court Street, and they have been very patient, if anything, with this property. And I really think we need to expedite this. If we just go ahead, declare it a menace, work with him. If he doesn't comply within a certain period of time, say 30 days, then the city can go in and do its business. And that's my suggestion.
Any other discussion? Thank you. So I will, if there's no other discussion, I will close the public hearing for parcel 137R-0-44-043.001. And that hearing has ended at 5:50. Now I call for the motion, correct? Now that I exited,
If anybody has a,
if anybody has a motion?
motion.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion to declare it a menace.
Councilman Smith has made a motion to approve the resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, authorizing the cleaning of private property and making provision for collection.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
And also in that motion, Jordan, it's to determine that the property is in such a state of uncleanliness so as to constitute a menace to the public health and safety of the community.
Thank you. We'll add that in.
Do we have to do a time frame?
So I think they're gonna work with them, and then after 30 days, if nothing's resolved, then the city can take action.
Yeah.
Can we change that to 60?
I think 30
just
days
because I know
is
Mr. Berlin suffers with health issues.
Yes.
Change it to,
And so that,
Wanna go-
so
I
that,
mean-
that really goes over, guys, to the administration
Yeah.
to deal with. And
Right.
I would recommend that Mr. Breland call the administration tomorrow, call between Jeremy Berg and Ricky Leitner in the building department and work with them and, Benzo, and probably Vince would be your best contact to work out a plan moving forward. And the administration can keep the council informed as to what's going on.
okay, so all we did was determine that it was
A menace.
a
A
menace.
menace. And I just want to make sure, since it is a new owner, that he has all the proper notifications from June up until today.
Well, it's not actually a new owner, Falba. It was caught up in an estate. So
But he was
it's,
saying his name wasn't on it, and since the deed is changed, he just
well,
make
the
sure.
deed's not actually changing. It's just removing his siblings. My understanding is removing his siblings and putting
Yeah, from
it
that.
solely into his name.
Right.
So we followed,
Of the deed.
followed,
followed
the requirements that the state law provides and actually went above and beyond to make sure that he has received notices.
You okay with that? You have all the notices? You are, do you
Yeah,
have all the notices? Okay.
I mean, supposedly this came up the last city council meeting, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't
been a
notified to
couple
come
of
to
them.
that,
It's, but the one before that.
one before that?
It's been a month or two.
Yeah, cause I didn't know about that. This one, they just let the letter on the prop. So,
And I think the notice is verified. The notice was mailed to Mr. Breland, 216 Cary Court.
Right.
yeah,
Any other discussion? Okay, vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0.
And that is Moynihan on the phone, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Just for clarification.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
you are.
And we're gonna move on to our public forum. Thank you. We will start with, Mr. Ellis Roby at 105, Burnett Street.
Here to, my name's Ellis Roby. I've been here for about 9 years now. I live on 105 Burnett. My neighbor is getting ready to build a house, putting what I consider.
Excuse me one second. Jordan, are you abiding by 3 minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry.
If so, I just want to
Yeah,
make sure you
right, we
announce
do.
that too.
Yes, also, we do have a 3-minute
Yes, sir.
time.
I apologize.
If you don't mind, I'll give you a few pictures. I think it's considered a little excessive. We live in a VE zone, which I understand it's not supposed to put too much dirt in a VE zone. When I moved here 9 years ago, they wouldn't only allow me to level my property. Property is right behind this gentleman's here, and so my neighbor is the same height as I am.
Mhm.
So I was hoping the council would
Yes,
allow him to at least level it to a degree where the other properties are the same height. And
so I actually drove
So-
by it after I got your email and
Right,
sent it
right,
in. I
correct.
sent it into the administration,
they
and
told me the guy,
You're
presented a,
You're the White House?
no, that is my neighbor, I'm right
He actually
behind.
has a pool that butts right up to it, and that was my concern, was
Right,
turning off
that's
the
my concern
pool
also.
as well. And
So.
I do I tried to call you back, I don't know if I had the wrong number or not, but anyways.
Anyhow, so I was hoping the council would kind of intervene a little bit and maybe could we get it at the same height as everyone else? I understand how he wants to lift it up. I mean, you know, we live in a B zone. It's not a big gonna flood eventually.
So,
So I'm worried about the water draining off
w-
such high dirt.
so I guess my question for the administration, if that homeowner, because code enforcement has been out there, from my understanding.
That's
it
my
also-
understanding.
Yeah, also engineering has been out there as well. So with that being said, is there anything as a council that we can do about this?
He's bringing 2 foot in, it's my understanding, 2 foot of fill dirt. They'll monitor that to make sure nothing's higher than 2 feet, including the slab when they put it on. But also where he would have to have a swale, natural land on his property lines, so water will flow out and don't block no one else's
I
flood.
believe if you look at the pictures, it's way more than 2 feet.
Yeah, I was told that it was being monitored. Let's see if I can find the exact.
The last email I got from Ricky Ladner, he said, gonna take off some dirt after they dug the column, put in the column. Oh, it's kind of backwards, but
Yeah. I'll find out tomorrow on it.
the other thing, the property drained perfectly well. Wait, what? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, I'll have to find it and I'll get with the administration, tomorrow as well and follow up. But I believe it was something that they were monitoring it because, like, I believe you stated they were supposed to be doing something later to bring it down. I don't know exactly, but I know
I
they were
haven't-
It may have
keeping
been
an
some
eye
sort
on
of
it.
compaction issue, but
Yeah, I know they were keeping an eye on
Yeah.
it, at least from my understanding.
All right?
I-
So
yeah.
you'll give me a call tomorrow?
Yeah, what's that number?
okay, yeah, come here. The
Just-
whole public doesn't need your number. Come on.
That's right. I didn't think about that. You want mine? Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Name, Mr. Breland already spoke. Mr. Tad Black regarding an ordinance.
Thank you, Council. Ted Black, 211 7th Street. Y'all will be adopting this later on, this ordinance, and I would like to ask that, has any of the council had input on that ordinance?
Yes, sir. We presented it 2 meetings ago. We've sent, Mike Riso has copied me in on the emails that he sent asking for any comments from the council. We've asked the council for their input at 2 different meetings, and this is what we came up with.
If this ordinance is adopted, let's hypothetically say that I go through the code enforcement officer or the building inspector and I'm not getting the answers that I need to get. Is there still an avenue to come to the city council
Yes, sir.
and ask questions
So-
and state what's been happening?
Yes, sir. So what we did was we added 2 public forums. We have a public forum regarding agenda items before we discuss any agenda items. And then we added in a second public forum or public comment period at the end of the meeting.
I just want to make sure that the citizens still had, because in 1976, the voters voted for a city, a mayor, council form of government, which gave the voters a bigger voice, right? And I don't like these, I haven't read it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, the little bit that I know about it, it seems like that we're slowly but surely trying to take some of the public comment out of city council.
Well, now we've given you 2 opportunities.
So that's what I wanted to know. So that's gonna be the option of having that situation.
Yep, that's correct.
Just like the people came up here complaining about property cleanup. You'll still have that option
Yes, sir.
to do that.
Yep, sir. And
Thank
it
you
will-
very much.
It will just be at the end of the meeting rather than
With a time limit.
the beginning. And they're also,
Make everybody wait till the end.
and then we're also gonna do a 3-minute time limit as well, so. All right. Thank you, Mr. Butt. Moving on to Terry Velarde, 335 Main.
Good evening, and before I start, I want to thank each and every one of you for serving. I believe and trust that you're here to do the best job you can, and I respect that. On Saturday, I live at 335 Main and on the parade route for Boo in the Bay, and we witnessed about 3 or 4 groups of 3 or 4 gentlemen in military-type uniforms marching down the street, walking down the street, not marching, not any form of formal thing. And I was curious as to why they were here.
They were called in, anytime we have a big event, they'll call in for extra help. I think that was tobacco and alcohol.
It's Alcohol Beverage Commission.
They here for all the near eads and everything else. And they parked at the police department down there and strolled down Main Street.
Well, they came from the funeral home going down towards
Yeah.
the beach.
And that's, they parked up there and they all went down there and then they dispersed. The chief had them in different areas and all. Once they got down there, they split up, but they walked from the police department down
I've
there.
never, ever seen that, and I've been here over 30 years.
They come from near east, they come and they'll call out, they'll ask for help, with the parades and all from different ones, the sheriff.
So what was their purpose?
Just extra other people, traffic control and different things.
Well, their form of what they support has nothing to do with law enforcement other than alcohol.
Well, I'm just speaking off of,
Yeah.
gut intuition, but it's typical for them, and they actually do not have to be invited in by the Bay St. Louis Police Department. You will typically see the Mississippi ABC at big events, especially to monitor underage drinking.
Were they here for cruising?
I have no idea, Ms. Terry.
No idea.
Again,
And they don't always
I got-
tell us.
I
We
got
don't
the same-
always
yeah,
know, nor can we
yeah.
control.
really?
Like, we can't say, hey, come for cruising. Hey, don't come for cruising. We don't want you here. If we called and
got the
told them, we
same
don't want you
call.
here for cruising, they'd probably show up the next
So
day.
who invited them?
They don't have to be invited. They're a state
But they
agency.
was invited this time.
They were invited.
Yeah.
They can show up at any
okay.
bar at any
Just
given
to ask
time.
for support, help if
Okay,
needed,
so
and
again,
help.
we're an entertainment district, it allows open carry around the area. So it just didn't make sense, and I thought the optics absolutely.
They allow open carry for people over 21.
Oh, sure, I understand that. I mean, any kid that's walking around with that word in trouble, so like the kids who are on the golf carts. We have a big issue with kids driving golf carts that are not of age. We don't do that. But every other time, we've always seen the sheriff supporting our
Yep.
place. I just thought the optics of having uniformed individuals walking down the streets for our town just wasn't us.
No.
I think it was disgraceful.
It's my understanding when I asked the chief that when they got down there, they went to different corners, worked the corners, and just kept traffic going and everything.
So what were the results of their presence?
Help.
I don't
mean-
know. I mean, we have to,
Really,
I don't think-
every agency shorthanded and we ask for help.
Yeah.
We asked
Well,
the
that's the
state
purpose of
troopers,
it,
we
but-
asked the highway patrol, and we asked the pass, we asked Waveland, we asked the county, anyone that can,
and usually the police
Come,
department
come.
will put up
and
kind of a summary,
reciprocate,
but I don't know. I mean, it's only Tuesday after the Boo
and
Parade,
working
so
on that now.
I doubt if it's, so you ask him in a
Yeah.
few days, he could probably tell you. I mean, he'll have reports of how many arrests were made and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't
But-
know if we would know their citations or not.
But I mean, they were just here for support.
So do their scope increase because they're here? Because again, alcohol, underage drinking, I get that. But would that be the only reason they would be issuing a citation? So I guess I'm just asking, I just really think the optics were not good of having military-style uniform people marching up and down our streets. I understand that we may need additional help, but I've never, ever seen any other group. The only other time was after Katrina, National Guard was here once, and then maybe 9/11. But It just doesn't fly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I
Yeah, and
never
I don't
seen
think
'em.
we have control over what they wear when they show up.
Yeah.
If anybody in here went
But when I
to
saw them
college,
at
they,
Mardi Gras and all, for Near East and different events for that, I think they are in all black. You know, at that, I don't know.
and that's
You
their,
said
that's
camel,
the-
but I
their
don't know.
state agency
But
regulates.
it's just support and help,
that.
ask, you know, he sends it out to all agencies in the neighborhood that wants to come.
I would suggest we find a different way.
But but you also have to realize there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, they may go to all the bars this weekend in downtown Bay St. Louis and check to make sure that
So they can
they're not being served.
they can come in at will.
Yes, they're a state agency.
All right. Thanks for the clarification.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on. Anthony Canan regarding boat storage. Or Anthony Cannon, I'm sorry.
So just trying to get an approval on we went through the last week and they sent me over to get approval for a boat storage on Longfellow and 603 on the corner.
Perfect. So we have the application. We'll get to that. I believe that is actually agenda item number.
Mr. Canning, you don't have to sign up for public, so
Yeah, you don't
they'll
have to
call,
sign up for
your item will come up a little bit later in the agenda, so you're all good.
Perfect. Thank you.
It happens all the time. It is on the agenda.
Terry Hughes, 238 Cary Court. Come to the mic, please. Jerry, I'm sorry.
I was here, for the Breland property. The two other ladies that I was with 2 months ago spoke, and we were just trying to follow up and see what was gonna happen.
Oh.
So, I guess you made it clear what needs to be done. The thing with us, it's been 20 years, and, Ms. Moon was trying to sell her house, and that was a detriment to her house being right next door. And
Ms.
the
Breland,
lady-
Ms. Breland, I'm sorry, Ms. Hughes, if I may, I'm going to encourage you next time when we have a public hearing to please make these comments in public hearing, because exactly what you're saying is the information of why we have public hearings, so that we can show that this is a concern of the neighborhood and that is a public nuisance. So, a lot of times we come for these things and we end up having to come back a couple times. So if we find ourselves in this predicament again, please, I beg you during the public hearing to wave your hand and say, I want to talk on this.
Well, when they
Nikki-
called me,
Yeah, I
when
think
they
did
called me,
last
that's
time.
why I just spoke.
Oh, you just got here.
No, when they said my name.
Yeah, so
Because I had
Okay.
talked,
I think
Yeah.
I
what
had talked
Ms.
to Kyle and I had talked to Larry. So when they called my name, I thought I
Yeah.
needed to
Yeah.
explain.
And so
why
we'll
I
make
was
sure to
here.
do a better job on our end too of when we
Okay.
have public hearing to making
All right,
sure.
That's
And
fine.
Caitlin, just for us to know, what may be a good idea is to, before public hearings like that, go grab that sign up sheet and just see if anybody signed up for it, to, just in case there's any
Yeah,
confusion.
'cause I didn't need to speak anymore, but
Yeah.
when they called my name, I thought I
Yeah.
had to explain.
I get it. Get it.
Okay. All
Thank
right,
you very
Helping
much.
us do better next time.
Thank you, Ms. Jerry.
Mr. Roe Crowder. So actually, if you're not the applicant, now would be the time. The only time the discussion will happen with the next steps will be during the P and Z if there's a question from the council. So unless you're the applicant and the council doesn't have a question, now would be the time to come forward.
Good evening. My name is Katie Hood. I represent Dr. Crowder and Miss Melissa Crowder. I know that we are number 14 on the public forum, and just so the record's clear, we are not the applicant, and the agenda does state that the Planning and Zoning's recommendation to deny the application for a certain variance to the subdivision, as fully stated in item 14, is what we're here for. And I just want to reiterate the arguments that were made before the Planning and Zoning Commission not too long ago, that the state law, specifically Mississippi Code 17123, subsection 4, requires the applicant to provide notice, specifically written notice, to any affected landowners. And my clients, Dr. and Mrs. Crowder, are affected landowners for this proposed replat of certain property, and just quite frankly, that notice was not provided. And so the way the statute reads is that this body, this council, does not have any other option but to deny that application. There are other nuances that I think were more fully fleshed out at the Planning and Zoning Commission, but unless, that's all I have to say now, unless the council has questions when we get to item 14.
Katie, what statute you cite?
17-123, subsection 4.
Thank you.
Thank you
Ms.
very much.
Oh, sorry, I have a question. Ms. Hood, and so, based on where the proximity is, with the Crowders, they would be within a 300-foot radius of this property,
That's
right?
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sonny Bueller?
Good evening, Council. Sonny Bueller, I own a property 655 North Beach and 747 North 2nd Street. I just further support Dr. Crowder's previous representative's intention to not support this replat. My property, along with Dr. Crowder's, directly adjacent it, and our other properties within 300 feet. In a previous hearing by you guys, they were denied further subdivision of more than 6 property parcels, and that's exactly what they're trying to do now, go from 6 to 7. We allow that, we set a precedent for them to go 7 to 8 until they get to their, whatever their intentions were, 13 property initially proposed. Any questions for me?
No, I do not. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, no one else is signed up for the public forum. We'll go ahead and move on to planning and zoning. Agenda item number 8. I'll call for a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application to reconfigure a parcel into 2 parcels needing a variance of, rather read the whole motion for all these. Variance of 1,463 square feet, resulting in a total of 9,037 square foot to the lot area, and a variance of 15.5, resulting in a total of 59.5 to the minimum lot width to parcel A, and a variance of 1,765 square foot, resulting in a total of 8,735 square feet to the lot area, and a variance of 15.5, resulting in a total of 59.5 to the total lot width of parcel B, submitted by Juliet Louise, terrible at names apparently, but located at 211 St. Francis Street, parcel 149E-0-29-395.000. It was approved 4-1. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second discussion.
Second by Councilman Lewis. Any discussion?
Yeah, and I think it's just worth noting, I mean, based on some of the feedback from the administration as well, this does conform with the area in terms of the character, the size and character of the neighboring properties with the lot width. I know there was a precedence, I think back in 2023, of a similar application in nature, but I hate to hold this current council accountable for a decision made by the previous council, and I never liked that, using that as a rule of thumb. If something was decided upon before, that automatically allows that for the next applicant. But I do want to just put, again, you know, we want to make sure that this does conform with the neighboring area. It does look like it does. It does do that, if not exceed areas in the, you know, especially from a lot width. So, so anyways, I just wanted to point that out.
Is she here today? Would you come up to the podium, please? Nice to finally meet you.
Yes.
We've had some discussion since probably about February of this year regarding the property, and prior Councilman Reed, I think, gave you some encouragement and some advice going forward. My concerns are similar to Kyle's. I noticed from the survey and also from the GeoPortal, you have enough land, but I'm wondering why not go and have the second property added to the, I guess, the south end of the property facing Easterbrook Street versus St. Francis.
Like splitting it the opposite.
Right, because then you would have 75 feet in both of your lots instead of 2 lots that would not be in regulation with our current ordinances?
Yes, thank you for that. My main reason initially doing that was for the oak trees, because it didn't, like, where the split would end up, because I did ponder that and didn't really have a preference, but I love the oak trees. And so when we were considering the subdivision either direction, this one made the most sense with contractors that I spoke to as far as building a home that fit the vibe of the neighborhood, whereas the back side, that back oak tree would have gotten in the way of the different setbacks. Like, if that makes sense, like it made it not make as much sense as far as like the housing plans.
And also, assuming you got housing plans, you wouldn't need any variances or anything?
Yes,
if
no,
this
that was a goal of mine too, since I was asking for this variance.
When I was looking to see if it was kind of conforming to the neighborhood, I looked on, directly across the street from you, you know, but like Councilman Lewis said, do we want to hold ourselves to previous decisions? But I think it does fit the neighborhood. I looked on the opposite end of Estabrook as well, and same thing. The houses were on, actually, I think it was at 49-foot lots, they were even smaller.
And I
so-
wanted to clarify too, I think it was actually Mr. Burke that brought up the past thing that y'all had passed along. My main thing was just, this has been a learning process in general, looking how all this goes. But my initial idea was the house that's on the property. I love that little house, but it was initially a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and addition was put onto it, not myself. And so the functional space is so tiny. So I even toyed with the idea of just can I add on, like, because it's so much lot, the house is not functional for a family, and my family's planning to grow, and I want to stay in the neighborhood. So that was kind of what led to that. And then I just looked at the lots and did research myself. So this was really me just first presenting with kind of the argument of, hey, I know that this is the ordinance currently, but what I'm requesting is I don't want to do anything crazy or not in line with the other lots that are around that probably were there before these ordinances happened, obviously.
All right, thank you very much.
I personally disagree with it conforming to the neighborhood simply because, yes, there are some smaller lots, especially on Easterbrook, on the side that she's on, but with that one house that it was built, looked like it probably was grandfathered in. And then if you go across Easterbrook, all of those houses from, I'm gonna say 89, 88, were about 75 feet. So there are like 1 or 2 that are small, but the majority are 75 feet, with the exception of the ones right across from her that more than likely had a variance. But you are R2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I guess the oak trees are in the way, but you do have a lot of options with that R2 as far as like duplexing, or I'm assuming y'all might know better. Could she technically do like a father-in-law suite in the back and redo the house that's there without splitting the parcel? Or a mother-in-law suite, like additional?
It would have to be approved by council.
Another thing too, as far as the not splitting it the other direction, right behind me is a duplex.
Is that R2? Sorry.
Yeah, she's R2.
She could put a duplex there by right if she wanted.
Yeah, she can.
Yeah, I think I researched that too, but again, I was really looking for a character home for my family, and a duplex didn't really fit that. And then, like I was saying, for the back, split in the opposite way, the home right behind is actually a duplex with a black tar driveway, and that already to me like doesn't fit the neighborly charm. And so putting my house next to that house, it just wasn't my preference as well. And they turned that, it's the duplex, and then there's another, what I guess is a pool house that I feel like is also maybe an Airbnb. So
Towards St. John or Easterbrook?
This is Estabrook.
Okay.
Yeah, right directly behind me in Estabrook. And I'm also like, this might sound silly, but I'm thinking of like sound and like babies and where I could put rooms that wouldn't be directly in the space of that. So those were all things I was considering when deciding which direction to go. But I hear and respect what you're saying too.
Thank you. So,
Any other discussion?
Thank you for your time.
All right, vote the motion.
Aye.
nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-1. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 9. A motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for a variance of 114% resulting in an accessory structure that is 164% size of the primary dwelling to construct the pole barn submitted by Laura Knoll, located at 325 Daffodil Street, parcel 138A-0-46-218.001. It was approved 5-0. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Second.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Davis. Any discussion? And I just do have one question for this. Is the applicant here tonight? When looking at it, I noticed the home is smallest 1,200 square foot, so I guess the pole barn, it probably is on here how big it's gonna be.
I think it's like a 2008.
Is that typical for a pole barn? Is that?
I would say yes. I guess it also depends on where you're.
Probably on the smaller side or something.
On a smaller side?
Yeah,
Okay.
it seems a little that seems really big for just poles and a roof. But when you're trying to plan putting a boat and a camper and just general storage,
Right.
those random things that you could possibly own, the pole barn is where we plan on putting all of that.
I just was curious as to, when I see the 164%, it jumps out on paper. I just
Yes.
more so wanted it for the record that it's a smaller home and
Right.
the 164% isn't as,
I think they also have like 4 or 5 lots.
yeah, it's on 5
I think
lots.
it's like 200, 250 feet
Yeah.
of road frontage.
Yes, so what the two parcels, we've actually combined all 5 of our lots into one parcel. But the 2 lots on the left, they're a little less than 10,000 square feet, so the 10,000 square foot, approximately.
And that was more so, like I said, I just wanted people to understand why it's, when it's 164%, why it may or may not get approved, so.
Yeah,
Thank
just a small house.
Perfect, thank you. Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. I'll call for moving on to agenda item number 10, I'll call for a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for a special exception and construct a boat storage facility on C3 property submitted by Kenan Sales, located at 3300 block of Longfellow Drive, parcel 138G-0-46-163. It was approved 5-0. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Lewis. Any other discussion?
Just a couple points of clarification. I would like to see, I know back in April 23, I know this was allowed or permitted by use, and then now it's by special exception. But the one item I would like to consider, I think one of the concerns from administration and our zoning administrator was the boat storage would be likely seen from Highway 603. If there's a way we can put some kind of privacy fence or barrier or something to where that can mitigate some of that. I don't know if the applicant's here that can speak to that possibility, but I'd love to hear that potential.
Well, your zoning will require a certain amount of that with your fencing.
Okay.
So a fence, so from 603 you wouldn't see the building? Or
That was one of the
block some
concerns.
it?
That was just one of the concerns from the zoning administrator where you can, it's, see from 603 whether or not you can put some kind of,
Which the building will
screen.
be 16
Yeah.
feet, 18 feet
So
tall,
moot
so I
point,
mean,
yeah.
and it's up on the corner right there where it's at, I mean, it's up high anyway, so you're gonna
Yeah.
see it. If
You're
you
gonna be
built
seen
it-
regardless.
Yeah, if you built a 20-foot fence,
Right,
you're
you'd
gonna
still
probably
see it.
see
Yeah, and you can do 6 feet. But that, again, that was just a question I wanted to ask because that was pointed out by the zoning administrator. If there's a way to mitigate that, sounds like it's not.
But for security, it'll have to have some type of, to have
Perimeter.
like a
Right.
chain link with privacy slats or something around part of it.
Gotcha. Right.
All right, any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 11, a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for special exception to construct an accessory dwelling in the rear yard submitted by Charles Bonner located at 703 Hancock Street, parcel 149N-0-30-052.001. It was approved 4-0. Entertain a motion.
Make the motion.
Motion by Councilman Lewis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Smith. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Moving on to agenda item number 12, motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for a special exception to construct a boat storage facility on C3 property submitted by Robert Boudin Jr. located at the 9700 block of Highway 603, parcel 138G-0-46-161. It was approved 4-1. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
I'll second Davis.
Second by Councilwoman Davis. Any discussion?
I'm assuming the same principle applies, because that was a recommendation that is visible. I don't know if the applicant's here tonight, but I'm assuming because of the low line area, that's gonna be the same issue, that it's gonna be higher than what any kind of privacy fencing would provide.
Well, we're gonna do a security fence, like a 6-foot chain link fence.
Yeah.
And we'll probably put some screening, something around.
Okay.
And then from the highway, it's got some protected oak trees, we can leave a lot of oak,
Yeah.
do some landscape.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Boudin, you and Mr. Kennan are doing the same.
Same thing.
Must need
We're
a
next
name
door,
for
we're
it,
next
huh?
door neighbors.
Next door neighbors.
Y'all might as well go in business together and
Uh-huh.
join forces instead of being in competition.
Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. At least we know we'll be getting better rates around here with all the competition.
That's right.
So
They got one right down the road, County Yards.
There's only three in
lot
the
of
same
votes.
area.
we'll move on to agenda item number 13, a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for sketch plat and final plat approval for proposed reconfiguration of 5 parcels into 4 parcels submitted by Matt Stifel and Louis Locus, located along the 400 block of Labatt Street, 400 block of Sycamore Street, and 500 block of St. Francis Street, parcels 149M-1-30-126.000.
Jordan, you do not have to read all those
Thank
unless you just want to.
Thank you.
I need to recuse myself.
All of those parcels on agenda item number 13.
And I would like to remind the council that this came before you guys in May, or came before the council in May, different council, but came before the council in May for the variance. So the variance to these have already been approved, and now this is just the actual subdivision.
And Caitlin, on the record, I'm gonna recuse myself.
You want to step out?
Okay, Councilwoman Holmes left the meeting at 6:28. I'll entertain a motion.
Smith, motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Lewis. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 5-0.
Alba.
Now you can't.
Are you staying in the dark?
She's in the dark. You could
Count-
turn the light on.
Councilwoman Holmes rejoined the meeting at 6:28. We're gonna move on to agenda item number 14 and call for a motion to follow, or I will make a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and deny the application for a variance to subdivision regulations section 314.4 for a proposed replot of one existing parcel into 2 separate parcels, with one of the parcels not fronting a dedicated public street, and allow access via a recorded easement providing sufficient ingress and egress submitted by L&H Holdings LLC located at 717 North 2nd Street, parcel 149C-0-20-074. The motion to deny was approved 4-0. So have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Holmes. Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Aye, motion carries to deny. the application 5-1. Moving on to agenda item number 15, a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve a variance of a 5-foot resulting in a 5-foot setback to the landscape perimeter submitted by 507 on Main LLC located at 507 Main Street. It was approved 4-1. I guess the next couple of agenda items are all the same applicant. Is someone here from 507 Main? So you could come to the podium for me. So I guess one of, I guess y'all want to state your names, I'm sorry.
Andrew Harwell.
Hey, I'm Ty Densford.
When I'm looking at this, I think it's a great project. I think it's needed. I like how it's pushing for the, 250,000 price range. I know it is a smaller unit, but I'm thinking of some of my friends that could possibly do this. But one of my main concerns is what's to prevent, so say some of my friends, if they wanted to go buy this, they got to go to the bank, go through the process, get a loan, right? Typical way to get home ownership versus somebody who might be from out of town, might be looking to make an investment, has the money in the bank, can come to you guys, buy it. Now we have 8 Airbnbs sitting on Main Street, right? So my biggest concern is I like the project. I like what it's for. If there's some way we can make sure, whether, I don't think there's anything the city can do if we approve it to enforce it, right? But maybe if you guys can put some sort of.
No, sir. I am a licensed broker in the state of Mississippi, and for fair housing reasons, we are not allowed to do that.
So with it, are you allowed to do any kind of POA stuff with it?
So what we've decided is the best way to handle this would be once we are sold 80%, we hand it over to the HOA, and they are able to make whatever rules they want to at that time.
Okay.
But we are not able to step in as any kind of entity and say we cannot do short-term rental there because your ordinance allows it.
Yeah, that's I know that's just one of my concerns, especially because when I look at this, obviously the reason for when I look at some of the variances, one of the variances is to get it to a 648 square foot dwelling, right? And that's to where you can basically have another unit instead of saying, hey, look, just form 7 and you don't even have to be here. So we're sitting here kind of going to give you a variance in order to make something that fits our comprehensive plan and makes it fit into what we want. But at the same time, there's no reassurance that it's going to be used for what we want it to be used for. It's possible it can turn into a keyless Airbnb, and I know there's nothing that we can do there, but in order, I'm trying to get my head around to do a variance to make it happen. If it's just going to be, highest bidder come in and buy it, it's not going to be used for affordable, then just do the 7.
I think honestly, part of the problem, what we have found in the last month was that there are other complexes around that didn't ask for a variance, and their sizes are 500 feet, 620, or whatever they are.
No, absolutely.
We've asked for the variance because we kind of play by the rules, and we want to make sure that you guys are supportive of this
Yeah, and when
8-unit condo. And I understand what you're saying, Mr. Bradford. I promise we've thought about it 100 times, but we were trying to support what you guys need. What we all need here is some young professional people here that can afford a $250,000 condo that work at Stennis or wherever, and there's no place for them to buy.
Well, Ty, and if I don't mind just kind of step in, I mean, I can appreciate that, and we can't dictate use, we can't dictate,
sure.
But I mean, when we talk affordable, let's be realistic. So you're looking at about 450 a square foot, right? Based on the square foot of that 250?
Below 400.
Yeah, so I mean, I think for a young professional, I don't want to convolute we're trying to make this available for young professionals. That's neither here nor there. When that
Relative to downtown Bay St. Louis.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to be in the nice area, but either they compromise the quality of the property or they, just priced out. But,
yeah. And it's over 300 square foot. Is that comparable from what you're seeing?
Well, we're on the low end. A lot of the places are 600, like the one on, I can't even pronounce, Ptolemy. I think there's 600 plus a foot. There's some right down the street. They're over 400 a foot.
Like I said, we can't dictate that. When we say affordable, let's keep it in perspective.
And then also,
still
I
300-400 square foot.
On the square footage variance, we only asked, and it was something Jeremy super helpful. So I don't want on the record. I don't want to throw Jeremy under the bus, but we asked for it, he said, as far as he can see, no other projects asked for the variance for the square footage because that 750 square foot was designed, aimed at a structure. You know, I forget the exact word it uses, but it looks like it was just not worded as
Basically, single family.
specifically as it could, so somebody doesn't come in and build a 750 square foot house, not so much aimed at an individual unit, because there's dozens of smaller one bedroom, you know, in recent projects, but they didn't ask for variance because it just wasn't. It's kind of unclear the way the ordinance reads. That make that a 750 square foot dwelling.
Any other discussion or questions from anyone else?
Well, I guess my question, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what would necessitate in terms of the landscape perimeter wanting to do a variance of the 5 feet? Just kind of take me through that very briefly.
The parking lot requirement of 23 spaces, that extra 5 feet helps us to be able to fit the building, the parking lot.
But you're still asking for a variance to the parking on top of it?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
the one space.
I may have misunderstood your question, Mr. Lewis, I'm sorry.
No, you answered it. So it's to help, meet the parking requirements, but you're still asking for a variance to the
And
parking.
make everything nice and aesthetic.
Yeah.
There were some other
And I appreciate
options
that, yeah.
that, you know, to keep parking not right on the road and also keep our dumpster in the back. Well, we could meet everything. We're really done in an effort to keep a nice aesthetic, project. That's it. Everything could have been met, but moving the dumpster to the rear and keeping parking, not pushed all the way up to the front. We try to keep the parking kind of behind, where the front of the building is.
So it's based on proximity where the parking is, but you can meet because again, we're still looking at a variance to the parking requirements and spaces, but it's more of the aesthetics to where you want to have that perimeter, and I can appreciate that. We
Right,
wanna have a natural
both
space
play
area.
into that, giving us the space to move things around.
And I will tell y'all at this time, the parking, the 9x18, that is the recommendation of Orion, your city planner. That is the recommendation they will make in your planning, your zoning that's coming forward. I also think, and don't quote me on this one, but those buffers, those landscape buffers, with them, I think it's actually, they suggest reducing the 10 feet that we have now. I think they suggested that that's too big. So just wanted to throw that out there. We've been doing a lot of planning, a lot of research, and a lot of prep for our new zoning ordinance, and this is in line with what Orion is saying.
Heather, can we get a copy of the recommendations from Orion?
They are not ready to be passed out, but I'm sure when they're in substantial form, you can.
Okay, yeah. So I've not seen it. I don't want to make a recommendation based on what could be. I do want to see that, but.
Well, I mean, I guess you have my word. That is what your planner said. That is what your planner said when we called him today, just to verify, hey, this is going to be your recommendation, correct? He said, that is my recommendation. That is what the standard is. That's what the majority of the US does.
And I don't know if it's clear, we have two parking size space or size variants. We can do 20, as it currently sits, we can do 22 of the required 23 at the full 20 by 10 size, or we can fit it in the same layout, all 23 spaces with the 9 by 18 size.
And
So it's just one or the other.
With it being single bedroom units, I mean, if it were, 2-bedroom units, you still would have to have the same
Right, or
parking. So
30 bedrooms or 10
So the
bedrooms.
22, 23 isn't really a deal breaker for me on that front, but so I'd rather take the recommendation with the 22 spaces personally, but the 648. I'm just running through all of them. 648 to me, you're probably looking at a couple of more square foot if you were to drop down to make it there. But I'm caught up on what it could be. Maybe this could be depending on how this vote goes, can be I guess a guinea pig on how this goes. I'd hate for it just to turn into 8 Airbnbs right there. Maybe that will free up some of the houses in downtown for younger people to buy though. But that's just my concerns. As far as we'll go through and vote each motion. We want to see if there's any other discussion before going through. I mean,
I think it's a good project.
By
revisit
chance,
each
do you
one?
have comps with you regarding the square footage of the actual living space?
No, but I know Court Street, there's I think it's a 4-story condo there, 547 square feet. The ones on Toomey are, 5 something as well. And that's just the two that are currently listed. You can see on, Zillow or
Zillow.
Realtor, but there are, several, but it's a 650 square feet, it's a pretty large, 1-bedroom layout.
So I can't remember. at
So
this-
George, what are you talking about on the parking spots? Which one?
We'll
Oh.
get to that, we're not,
Yeah, it's in
we're going one
Yeah,
by
we're
one.
not on that one, but I was gonna, if I had to pick one, I'd prefer the 22 spaces, being it's just one bedroom.
The
units.
right, the big ones.
Yeah, the
right,
big ones, yeah. And then whenever we get the update, then we can.
I believe that's what the, P and Z committee actually
Right.
approved.
Yeah.
Denied the other one.
And I think if you look at average size of a full or SUV, it's about 7 feet, the width.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do agree with kind of keeping it a little bit wider, give more room. So I kind of agree with you on that one, Jordan.
Yeah.
But I know that's the next motion. But
So I guess we'll go ahead and vote motion 15. Can't remember at this point, after all the discussion, if I've already called for a motion or not, but I will call for a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve a variance of 5 foot resulting in a 5 foot setback to the landscape perimeter submitted by 507 on Main LLC located at 507 Main Street. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Holmes. Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Moving on to agenda item number 16, a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve a variance of 1 parking spot to the required 23 spaces resulting in 22 spaces located at 507 Main Street. It was approved 5-0. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Davis, second.
Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Moving on to agenda item number 17, a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and deny the variance to allow 9 by 18 parking spaces at 507 Main Street. It was approved 5-0. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman. Second by Councilwoman Moynan. Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Agenda item number 18, a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the variance to allow a minimum of 648 square foot dwelling units at 507 Main Street. It was approved 4-1.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Holmes. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Agenda item number 19, a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the major site plan review for a condominium submitted by 507 on Main LLC located at 507 Main Street, parcel 149E-0-29-293. It was approved 5-0.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Moynan, second.
Any other discussion?
A quick question. I know you mentioned earlier that there will be an HOA, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the residents living there will have a voice and impact on that?
Oh, yeah, we will be glad to hand it to them at 80%.
I'll make sure. We've run
Yeah,
into
let
that
'em have it.
issue, and it's not a city issue, but we've run into issue where there's not a voice and residents don't have a lot of feedback.
Yes, sir, there will be HOA.
All right, thank you.
Give me just a second before we vote.
Did you say vote the motion?
Not yet.
Just a second, Nance.
Okay.
Councilwoman Holmes is pulling something up.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to relook at the plot, sketch plan, okay.
Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, gentlemen.
Got the mayor's report.
The only thing, I didn't have anything there, I just sent out and got sent out today was Cruising Coast After Action Report from the police department that they finished up yesterday afternoon, and I think everybody's got a copy of it now, and make sure you got it.
Yeah, we got it.
be ready probably end of this week, first of next week.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? We'll move on to council business. I will call for a motion to approve the city council procedure ordinance 675-10-2025, adopting policy and procedures of city council meetings. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Moynihan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Holmes. Any discussion?
Yeah, and President, I just wanted to kind of go over a couple items, and no different than what I've discussed in the past. Section 1-17 is decorum generally, and it's provision B, and this is discussing by other persons. So it does state, no person shall make personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks, nor otherwise disturb the order and decorum of any council meetings. The sergeant at arms at the direction of the presiding officer shall remove any person violating the provision of this subsection. Subsection A of that is also, no person shall make personal attacks or comments about specific employees of the city by name or position. In the event a resident has a concern about a specific employee by the city, they should contact the mayor. And the only issue, I've presented this in the past, I don't want this to be so punitive to where we're discouraging individuals in the public to come speak. And by this, I think it, again, especially with subsection B of that section 117, it makes it rather subjective as to who does determine if it's impertinent or relevant, because my relevant may be different than your relevant, and so who's deciding what you're speaking of is not pertinent or is not relevant, so we're going to shut you down, have the sergeant at arms walk you out. So, I think our society works because of the freedoms garnered by the First Amendment to speak openly and honestly without any fears of retaliation or retribution. I just want to make sure that this is not in violation of that, and that we do allow that open feedback. So again, that's been my stance on the past, is I just want to make sure that it's not punitive in effect or subjective as to who determines what you can or can't say. It's been done in other meetings, not here, but in other parts of the country, school board meetings, council meetings, whatever the case is. I want individuals to feel open to discuss it. Now, we know we have the 3-minute time limit. If it does get to a point where it's profane or slanderous, which slanderous can be a little bit subjective, but if it's profane or there's threats, obviously, yes, that warrants getting that individual out. But again, I think there's that fine line of what constitutes, the freedom of speech to speak freely. We've got the 3 minutes. We're not required to answer. There's times that someone can just come speak their mind. Thank you for your concerns. They're here, expressed it, great. So I'm just not a proponent of that specific section. So again, just wanted to hear any other feedback. I mean, if any other council person feels the same, I would like to see that kind of, again, less punitive and less subjective.
Ms. Heather,
So I guess.
what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's your ordinance. I think you can have the language in it that you so choose. I will remind you that city employees specifically are not your employees. So there's if somebody is up here attacking a city employee, you guys as a council do not have control over that employee. That's an administrative issue. And as far as, what can become that is at the direction of the presiding officer. I mean, you would hope that this would never happen and that everybody that came in this room would act like adults, but it would if you had somebody that came up here and made rude, vulgar, threatening, it just gives you a mechanism to eject them from the meeting.
So I guess in my position, I know it's a big ask. I assume the judgment would be left up to me, right, the way it's written. So I'd ask you to trust my judgment in it. I mean, we can go through and list out if someone's up here and they slip a curse word here and there. I mean, that happens, right? But if they're directing it towards somebody, I think that's where
like a profane word, curse word, or a threat.
If someone comes in here and says "F you, Kyle," that is their right. I'll let them say it, right?
Sure.
If it goes to, "Hey, Kyle, let's step outside," I think that's where, if they want to say, come at me and say "F you, Jordan," I'll say, "Hey, look, let's get it back to the topic." But if it turns into a point where it's threatening, I think that's when we ask them to leave.
And I know there have been instances, and no one, it's not a comfortable feeling, being critical, but if someone feels like their only recourse is to come to the council meeting to address maybe an action or inaction, again, as long as it's not a personal attack, but it's, hey, I want to get my ditch dug. I've reached out to the council, to the administration, public works, and I can't get an answer. Should be their right to be able to
Yeah,
come and
absolutely.
address that.
I
And so
agree
we wouldn't, again, they're going to speak to what that position is in the city. So they would still have the ability to come to the meeting and say, hey, I've been trying to reach out to the council person, the mayor, the public works. I can't get an answer. Help me. That would, based on this provision, though, you can't name anybody by name or position. So I just want to make sure that
I guess, can we adjust it to, I'm trying to find it on there. Can we adjust it to just say name and to where they can state the position of the person they're dealing with?
You can adjust it to anything you would like to adjust it
I
to.
mean, I'm okay with them stating the position. I mean, I hate to dox any particular employee. I know they do work for. the
yeah,
public,
and I
so-
agree with that. I don't want to put name. I mean, that's completely fine. I think that's
it's-
more palatable.
I think it is appropriate to address them by the position.
Well, the issue with that is, we know who the fire chief is, we know who the mayor is, so you're really parsing things there. It's just, that doesn't make sense to me. If you go by position, because you know who's in the position.
We're assuming they do. I mean, again, it's an opportunity for the public to come address any concerns, and we've taken an oath to be able to look. That's part of it. The ugly, the good, the bad, you name it. I mean, that's why we're up here. It's and as long as it's done under a manner that is respectful on both ends. But I don't want to dissuade anybody from thinking they can or can't come up here, or they'll be shut down if they have a impertinent topic to discuss. I think we had somebody come up here and said that I think China was listening on our phone lines, like, hey, thank you for coming. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, thank you. But that's his right to come speak to it.
I think they are. I would agree with them.
Well, and I would hope that at the direction of the presiding officer, I would hope that, he would not be removed from the meeting. That would be, thank you, go on
Yeah,
about your day, just like.
I think
prefer.
it's more, an attack, more threat. I mean,
The threat, and I agree with threat. Sure,
if
get that.
they want to come cuss at me, or I'll let them do it. I'll ask them to not do that. But
Can we put no person shall make threatening remarks and leave it at that? Because I think that does go on to disturbance of the peace. There are some ramifications for that.
What about gestures?
Well, can you
Let's
describe
put
gestures?
everything in there. Let's just don't, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right.
Okay.
so, Heather, can we make these tweaks on the fly right here, or do we have to wait till? I mean, because
No, you can.
I mean,
make
we had-
either whatever you want
we
to do.
did have. I know we've mentioned this to Mr. Black.
Just
We
come
had-
to the microphone.
Mr. Lewis, can you? And I don't want
Come to- yeah, no, absolutely.
Can you
Come to the
address the council in the microphone?
Lewis Inc., Corn Park. The verbiage you have here is if I want to speak, I have to address you, the
That's correct.
council. But if I don't want to, if I want to say something for the mayor or Riso or individually where I see something wrong, I have that right, not just to talk to a whole body.
In my return to that, it is a city council meeting, so you would be here to address the city council.
But it's the open part. I can address anybody, not it's in the council meeting. I have the right to come to a council meeting and to address anyone for the council or the city administration.
I would, by state law, actually, we don't have to let anybody talk at a city council meeting.
Well, it's also, this is a city council
City
meeting.
council.
Under our form of government, the mayor does not actually have to be here. Mike Riso does not have to be here. So the meeting is to address the city council.
But they're here. So if they're here, they can be addressed to.
Well,
They
I
can be
don't,
addressed.
I think the ordinance is trying to keep, the council wants people to address them, not the mayor. If the
But
mayor
that-
wants to be addressed, he has an office across the street. And I think that's where Jordan can speak, and the rest of the council meeting, but I think that's where they were going with this provision, that if you want to have a conversation with the mayor, you can schedule an appointment. If you want to have a conversation with the council, come to the council meeting
I'll
and
have
talk.
to, I disagree with that, but
If you want to come here and tell us about something the mayor did not do for you, we're here to listen to that. But, you know, unless the mayor is directing
I'm-
something towards you, you know, like,
Right.
he doesn't even have to be at this meeting. This is to reiterate, the city council meeting. I want it to
But-
be dialogue between council and the citizens. That's kind of the thought process behind this.
I see what you're saying, but you have to be careful, because a person has a right to address anybody, and not just because it's at a council meeting, you know, or at a council meeting and not necessarily at an office, because if you go over there, you can't get nobody.
Well,
I
back to.
mean, you know, 24/7, well, let's see. I called the,
My cell number is out there,
Public Works.
24/7 on.
I called the Public Works office to talk to Ronnie about something, and the lady took my message. This is over a month, I'm still waiting for a phone call. I went to visit, I got to the thing, the lady at the front said, I need to speak to somebody in the Public Works. The lady said, it's 3 o'clock, they're all gone. Okay, 3 o'clock, they're going home? Okay, that's what she told me. I'm not making this up. So then I drop in, I ask to see Mike Rizzo. He's not available. I understand, I just dropped in. Then I called to talk to him. Can't even talk to him. So far, y'all are batting 0.
So can I ask you a question? What ward do you live in?
Mr. Lewis?
Have you contacted Mr. Lewis?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Lewis, have you contacted the administration?
This has been an ongoing issue you've had here, so I asked Mr. Zink how he wants to handle it. He wants to go through the
I
channels.
as of right now, I told him to hold off.
If Councilman Lewis, you told Councilman Lewis to hold off, he didn't proceed, did you
Right.
contact Councilman Smith?
No.
What we're trying to do is
I
we're
know-
trying to streamline the communication and to where we can get things done, because if the mayor's not listening to you or answering your phone calls, coming here, telling them isn't gonna make them listen. We're your voice. We wanna be your voice, and that's kinda, communicate with us, give me a call, I'll be more than happy to reach out for you.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify that. Again, the fact is, Mr. Zink and I did have a conversation, and the conversation consisted of, let me go through the appropriate channels through administration. Correct?
Yes.
And so, that's why I did not reach out to the mayor at that current time. But again, you know, again, that's certainly something that, I want to respect and have you try to go through and get an answer.
Right.
So what is it?
With what? Oh.
Yes, the problem is.
You mean my problem? I'll talk to you after me.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm okay with can we make the amendment now so we can adopt this? Because for the next meeting, I'd like to have had, that's kind of the reason of giving 2 months to give comments, not the day of. No,
I mean, if you
I
say
wanted-
exactly what it is, I can
amend it, we can still
amend it.
adopt it
Mhm.
now.
Yeah, as long as I put it in writing.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we'll change it to have, mark off by city name and leave position. And then change it to threatening.
So, wait. So no
So under
person shall
section
make, you want me to
1-17?
scratch out personal attacks or comment and put threatening remarks?
Yes.
So personal attacks or comments is struck and threatening remarks is added. About specific employees of the city, do you want me to scratch out by name or position, leave by name or position, or do you just want me to put a period after remarks? No person shall make threatening remarks, period.
that
Yeah.
sounds good.
I think that's a good change.
Okay, that problem solved, moving on.
Okay.
Anything else?
Can I
Yeah,
speak to, yeah. So on, the section 117B, I would strike so no person shall make personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks. No person shall threaten nor otherwise disturb the order and decorum of any council meetings. If we want to, specify with threatening remarks or gestures, we certainly can, but I would just say no person shall make threatening gestures or remarks.
So you're saying to strike personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous?
Yeah, I would like to see, because you know, again, I think personal is that's gonna fall under threatening remarks, and pertinent to me is subjective. So I would just like to say, you know, we discussed the profane, how that's gonna be used. I think Jordan mentioned he's gonna use his, you know, judgment as to what's profane, what's not, how it's in context. So I'd just like to say, no person shall make threatening remarks to disturb the order and decorum of any council meeting.
And
I think profane should be included in that.
I agree.
Will
But
we
we
run
should
into
just
any
add-
legal ramifications if we ask them, hey, look, city council meeting, you can't use profane language? I mean,
This is
in my house,
a place of business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are your ordinances, your policies as
saying,
to
if we
how,
left that
you know,
in there-
people's rights end when they start infringing upon other people's
Yeah.
rights. And
So
this
if
is,
we left that in there and someone came in here and did use profane language, we wouldn't be open to a lawsuit though from that.
I mean, I honestly think you guys are getting into the weeds of something
Exactly.
that there's
Yeah.
plenty of other.
This is
What is
crazy.
profanity?
This is crazy.
And we have to list
that's
that
why-
very carefully.
I was thinking maybe
don't
we
put it
could
in there.
just
I think we
add
got
a
an
word
incident
like
many years ago about
excessive.
I don't know how many of our
situation
citizens are
flipping
gonna read
somebody
this
off.
and follow it when they get up there at the podium. This is, this is,
Yeah, we're gonna,
I mean,
we're gonna
this
post
is
it.
just nuts. It's crazy. People are not gonna read this and people are not gonna follow it.
Yeah,
Jordan,
look,
I hate to interrupt, but
yes.
I have to exit the meeting.
Perfect.
I'm at leadership and I have to be somewhere at 7.
All right, thank
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank you,
much.
Nancy.
We'll put
you.
Councilwoman Moynihan left at 7:01.
Can we just
Jordan.
add the word excessive and
This
that
is-
way?
It
Mr.
seems
Ward.
kinda
Be done.
Mr.
confusing
Ward, I
what's
gotta
going
ask
on.
you, we had our public forum part in the beginning of the
Oh, I didn't get the rule book.
meeting. Well,
That's right.
that's, we post the agendas on the,
We don't wanna hold anybody up, you know?
you're more than welcome to speak. I'd love to adopt this
Well,
to give
Mr.
you
Zink
two
got to speak.
opportunities.
Well,
Yeah, that's a good
one
point.
of the problems is that we don't know what our comments are until after you say stuff. You want us to say it before, we don't know what the topic is.
The agenda, Mr. Ward,
Well, the
I'll-
agenda, but like.
the agenda-
I've read all of these, I
Yeah.
didn't.
if it's okay with the
I don't know what's
council,
going on.
can I invite Mr. Ward? I know,
Yeah, we
Well,
glided from
come
Mr.
on.
Zink, so.
come to the mic, Mr. Ward.
Well, it seems like there's a really, I talk loud, there's an attempt to really suppress the public, to me. I know that y'all's time is valuable, ours is too. We're not professionals and y'all aren't either. There's no degree in being a council person and there's no degree in being a citizen. And, I mean, y'all trying to suppress the public, well, I mean, saying rude things, is calling somebody a liar or one of those things?
No, call me a liar.
No, but my
No, I'm
point
saying-
is that a problem?
I think,
I've heard that many times.
I think back to, it's a judgment thing. If you're sitting here going through each one, we'll let you call each one of us names, call each one of us a liar.
I don't see that's necessary, but
I think when it gets to the point of threatening or, you know, if it's your right to speak, if we give you the right to speak at the meeting, it's your right, but, you know, we still want you to be respectful. We can't make you
well,
be
there's no doubt
respectful.
about it.
But as far as, I have to disagree with you about suppressing the public. I think we're giving you two opportunities. One, to talk about the agenda items so we can handle our business, and then another one so we can hear your concerns and get them addressed. So I don't see how you're saying we're suppressing you, other than to ask you not to make threatening remarks, which we've
Well,
addressed.
since I've been coming to the meetings, this has come up a few times.
Yeah.
And one of them was, they can't talk to the mayor that way. Well, Mike's a big guy. I mean, me and Mike go back and forth. I mean, but at the end of the day, are we here protecting the public officials or are y'all protecting the public?
We're here to protect you.
Yes.
But tell me what I can do for you.
Well,
And
yeah, and-
I'll go with you and meet with the mayor in City Hall, but to sit here and come here and name call him when he doesn't have to be here is.
Yeah, it's just subjective and,
Is this a
what-
city
what-
council meeting or a mayor's meeting? Can I ask you that?
This is a city council
City
meeting,
council
but the
meeting.
other day, Mike jumped up and got on Lonnie and he
So-
wasn't on the agenda.
So we will ask the mayor.
I
to
didn't
not
get
make
on
any
him,
more
I
comments.
just,
Well, you asked him hard questions.
I just stated what the council was asking for, answer the questions, and the fact that he stated that Cruising the Coast is responsible for 750 rooms in Bay St. Louis, you know,
Well,
it's just.
but my point is, I like the question, but at the end of the day, he didn't ask to talk. He didn't get on the agenda. He's not part of the meeting, obviously. And that was, you know, is that a perk or is that the rule?
You know, let's address how we want the mayor, we'll ask the mayor to raise his hand, and, or the council,
Oh my God.
the council.
Well, I
will
mean,
ask him.
well, you're gonna make rules there for everybody.
Can I
I mean,
just say,
that's a
maybe
big
this
problem.
exact situation that we are all hearing right now is why we need an ordinance
Yeah,
to
because we all-
establish
this
procedures of
is
how a
literally-
meeting
And
is
don't
going
get
to
me
be
wrong,
conducted.
I think those were good questions he had.
This is literally, we're giving you, this is an ordinance we want to adopt so you can read it and know how right now, and quite honestly, previous councils, they did not have this, and it was coming here and it was shoot
Yeah.
from the hip, however you want to have it. This is going to be
Jordan, I was part of
listed.
that. Oh, I'm sorry.
And,
Brett.
and I thank you very much, Councilman Lewis, you were part of that, and that was a shoot from the hip
So
scenario.
I was, in the 4 years, again, we've discussed, is other instances and times where there might be a candid question or, you know, I'd say, sure, once in a blue moon. I think the example's been brought out, oh, we've had so many public comments that we've stayed here till midnight. I didn't experience that in my 4 years. I would say.
No,
I haven't seen
You know,
an
I just,
issue.
again, we have a
And-
time frame, so
Till midnight.
And I agree with you, and that's why I talked to you about that one-on-one as well, and I agreed with you, and that's why I put a second public forum in there. I respected your comments.
For
But it-
instance, y'all talking about this, we can't even read it. I don't have it. I mean,
It's in the agenda packet online, just like every one of our agenda
Yeah.
packet. Nothing's different than this one.
yeah.
It's been like that since,
When Tad talked, I really didn't know what he was talking
I mean,
about.
it's been that way for a very long time.
Well, that's the point though, but if we don't know,
That's what I'm trying to give
if
you.
we don't go to for instance, the town hall meeting, the state of the city meeting, that was never discussed here. That just happened. It just happened. There was no protocols to that.
Now we're on a different tangent here.
Well,
but this is, I'm-
kind of, but I see that
this is-
it's all
this
to
is-
be, not to be, and that's just not a good way to go.
literally what we're giving you is what you want, and I don't understand your concern. You want a handbook, I'm gonna give you a handbook. Once we adopt this, I will bring it to you personally and go over it with you if you want me to.
I don't need it. I'm just
I don't,
tell
if,
you,
I will be more than glad to go over it with you, but at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and close the discussion and ask the council if they have anything else they'd like to amend, and maybe any amendments, we'll vote on it, and then go ahead and vote this into place so we can have clarification for our meetings and it won't be a shoot from the hip anymore, so.
And so just to confirm, we made this previously discussed amendments to section 117
Yes.
B and then subsection A, right?
Yes.
I'm still unclear as to, other than no person shall make threatening remarks, period. We do not have any set standard as to what you want the first sentence of B to say.
So after threatening remarks nor otherwise disturb the order and decorum of any council meetings, period.
Nope, that's the second. We're on the first.
You're on subsection A, no person.
Nope, I'm on subsection B. No
That's what
person
I
shall
just-
make
that's what I just
personal.
referenced, yeah.
Okay, so you're reiterating section B, so do we
Correct.
even need the first part? Because you're now just reiterating,
So no person shall make threatening remarks.
we have that
Right.
under A.
Okay. Under A, can you?
Under
repeat-
BA,
So,
The one you're
B-
already
under A
changing.
is council members, and then
Okay.
under B is other persons.
Yeah.
So we can't make threatening.
so do you want to just put, no person shall make threatening remarks, period? The sergeant at arms, at the direction of the presiding officer, shall remove any person violating the provisions of the subsection, period?
Yeah.
Move, in the event a resident has a concern about a specific employee of the city, they should contact the mayor, period. Have that all under B.
Person shall, well, again, I don't want to prevent anybody from coming to address anything, so can you repeat that B, please? I'm sorry, B subsection A.
Okay, we're gonna read it how it currently reads. No person shall make personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks, nor otherwise disturb the order and decorum of any council meeting, period. The sergeant at arms, at the direction of the presiding officer, shall remove any person violating the provisions of this subsection, period. B.A. No person shall make threatening remarks, period. In the event a resident has a concern about a specific employee of the city, they should contact the mayor, period.
Sounds good.
So, look, Councilman Lewis is wanting, do you want to strike the entire first sentence?
So-
Move A,
You
the
want to
beginning of
strike
A to the beginning of B?
No. So A is correct, that's what I'd like to see, but you just recited what the subsection B is, what it currently is. I mean, I've got to look
That
at.
is correct. That's what I said I was doing.
Yes, okay, so I'm good with that. I'm good
You're-
with what you just mentioned on B subsection A. And then to go on to B, by other persons, no person shall
No,
make.
that is what I just read. I just read,
But you read verbatim from.
I've read verbatim by other persons.
From what it is.
Verbatim. I read exactly what it is.
The person shall make threatening remarks.
But what I'm telling you is you are now repeating what you have under section A.
Yeah. so
BA.
let's- Okay.
So why are we
let's strike,
repeating?
let's strike A then, because then then that would allow anybody to come speak of any concerns they have, so I'm good with that.
No.
Ms. Ward, I'll give you the handbook, I promise.
I mean.
This is entirely
We've had this
inappropriate.
for weeks.
It's not.
Sitting here,
Bringing
y'all
all
are
these
wanting me to,
changes
no,
up now.
my,
I don't
you're
know.
wanting me to change an ordinance that you have to have in writing. I'm sitting here reading line by line to make sure the ordinance that is adopted is in writing as you guys wish. There's nothing condescending. It is direct to make sure that each of you have your wishes written in writing as required by Mississippi state law. It's very simple.
I'm more visual. I need
And,
to see
and
it.
Cal-
Can we,
Councilman Lewis, can I
have
ask you a question? then?
Sure, sure.
Why did you wait 2 months to bring this up?
I've discussed this at the previous, how many, we've had
Wait,
this
I will
discussion
pull
at
the
past
meetings.
two
You did not discuss this at the
I
last
did.
2 meetings.
I specifically said that it.
We
You
I
didn't
did not
respond
want-
to any emails
We've
about it or
had this
nothing.
for
I don't know
over a
if
Alright,
this is a.
gentlemen,
I want to
gentlemen.
garner
We've
feedback
had
from the
this for
council
Gentlemen,
as
can we
well,
just
but
table it?
Yeah, if we can table it based on what the
Why?
president allows, and then see what those
I'll tell you what,
recommendations
I'll-
are.
I'll
We're
look-
not gonna table something we've had for over a month.
Heather, can we change
Okay.
it to section 117, leave A, change B to no person shall make threatening remarks or slanderous remarks? Leave all that, or take all that out and just put threatening remarks in there, and then we vote this?
Sure.
And we will amend it later.
Do you
if
want
it doesn't-
slanderous?
Or you can take just threatening remarks.
How do you want to address A?
Do you want to keep nor otherwise disturb the order and decorum of any council meeting?
That should stay.
I'm good with
Okay.
keeping that.
Then if that's the case, then you remove you remove A completely. Do you want to keep in the event a resident has a concern about a specific city employee of the city, they should contact the mayor? Do you want to keep that or remove it?
Sure, they can always contact the mayor 24/7, so sure, keep that.
Okay, so you will move that up. So now, section 117B will read, by other persons, no person shall make threatening remarks, nor otherwise disturb the order and decorum of any council meeting. The sergeant at arms, at the direction of the presiding officer, shall remove any person violating the provisions of the subsection. In the event a resident has a concern about a specific employee of the city, they should contact the mayor. The end.
Yes, I think
Is that good?
sounds
Good
good
with
to me.
those changes?
I like it.
All right. I'll entertain a motion or I will make a motion to approve the city council procedure ordinance 675-10-2025, adopting a policy and procedures of the city council meetings with the amendments made, during the council meeting. Do I have a motion?
In writing.
God sec.
In
There's a
writing.
Motion and second.
I have a motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Lewis. Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 5-0. Okay, council business, agenda item number 21, after action plan, cruising the coast burnout mitigation,
Yes.
submitted by Councilman Lewis.
Yes, I submitted this. Caitlin, are you able to get this on the screen? Can't do it, okay. We can't do any kind of presentation from there onto the TV?
We got the PowerPoint.
Well, I know the council has, but again, it's a public meeting, so I'd like for the public.
Well, I
to-
could always turn my, screen around and let everybody see it.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully if anybody needs to move closer, but
And you just,
So, I'm just curious, so we post these online now, that's not sufficient enough anymore?
that's fine.
This warrants the special, taking the time,
Well, it's
I
not
think that
special
could have
taking
been
the time.
requested before the meeting. Now we're gonna be sitting here waiting on Caitlin to take 10 minutes to,
Well, let's
turn
get
on
to,
the TV.
so we'll get to the meat of the matter. You know, in the past, when we've done a PowerPoint, we have had it projected, but let's not let that deter what the issues are. So I wanted to discuss, again, the after action plan. I was in receipt, and I think the council was as well, from the police chief as to the, of course, what went well, what didn't. But something I do want to just bring up again, just to reiterate, this was, as Jordan had mentioned, this was posted, so I apologize if you're not able to see this. But burnouts are illegal in Mississippi. In Mississippi, performing a car burnout is illegal and can lead to charges for reckless driving. A newly enacted law effective July 1st, 2025 in Mississippi creates a new felony offense of aggravated reckless driving. This charge applies if a reckless driving incident results in bodily harm to another person, carrying more severe penalties, including potential prison time. So the goal here is, again, can we ensure the safety at this event, limit the city's liability? And so time and time again, since I've been up here on the council, we've asked, how do we mitigate the burnouts from Main Street, or Nikkei's down Main Street? And I just reiterated, Bay St. Louis Police Department did put a notification out. No burnouts or burnout zones are authorized by the city. I do believe back in the history of time with Cruising the Coast, there were sanctioned burnouts at the depot, although they were no longer allowed because of concerns on how it tears up the street and then the concerns on safety. Correspondence we're getting regarding mitigation, I had asked Mike Riso, how are we addressing mitigating burnouts, especially on Main Street? We have police patrolling around for cruising, and they also have a tent event as part of the patrol of the area. So again, also want to illustrate the concern is back in 21, we did a citywide repaving, resurfacing, restriping for Ward 2. This specifically included, and I did include the base cost for per engineer. The total cost for this project was around $600,000. Now that's all of Ward 2 for the asphalt level course, the overlay, the striping, white, yellow. So we can assume Main Street being the main thoroughfare, there's a fraction of that, but it's still, again, taxpayer dollars that we resurfaced, repaved, restriped. And based on the pictures, and this is on the 400 block of Main Street, so it starts on the corner of Main and Nikkei's down to the 500 block. And this is not something I'm conjuring up. We could take a field trip down to Main Street right now and see the indications of the many attempts of burnouts. It's on the streets. Unfortunately, again, these are streets that taxpayers paid to repave, resurface, restripe, and unfortunately, this takes years to get off the roads. So one, again, it's really destruction of public property, and then if you keep going, just going through the pictures, what's illustrated is the fact that there is actually incoming traffic on one lane. There's a burnout being done, and this is at right around 400 Main Street, and you can see the tire marks going into the other lane. Thankfully, that was not done at that time, or otherwise that would go into oncoming traffic. And then the other picture was there's a car taken doing burnouts. I believe this individual was told by the police, and again, this is not to denigrate what the police have done. I do believe they were doing their best attempt to try to shut this down in the city. It just so happens, I guess it was done in many areas, so they can't be over at once. This individual was told to, that this individual doing the burnout, anybody watching is culpable. The picture is going down Main Street. I was sent this picture from the next day in the same car that's doing a burnout. A lot of individuals right there on the sidewalk, no barriers, it's not sanctioned. And the right wheel of that car completely fell off. That holds the brake suspension in place. Thank goodness that didn't happen the day before. Otherwise, that we would have certainly an issue on our hands, and then the safety of the residents. So I just, again, I wanted to understand how we can better. I did get the after action plan from the police chief, and it does look like there's, I think all hands on deck 24/7 for those 3-day events was occurring. But what can we do to ensure that this doesn't continue to occur on Main Street, and Mayor, it's really specifically in front of your place of residence? So I just kind of want to better understand what was done, were the tickets issued, how did this occur, how can we?
It wasn't directly in front of my house.
Well, again, the pictures illustrate.
Don't matter, but I think in the after report, the chief addressed that, where they will have a setup. They'll monitor the outgoing traffic more on Main Street going out in the after report. And then they used to have an officer at that corner parked right there to, for traffic to flow. And they'll go back to having that monitoring exit.
So that's the main entrance exit.
Main exit.
And so that's a kind of a main breaking point. We want to make sure that anyone leaving, we're going to have a more police presence, because that's what Mike Riso said on October 1st. We have a more police presence. So, so that's the plan to mitigate, is have more police. That would be on that area on Main Street and Nikkei's. Were there any?
And they, they came by and, they stopped it. They wrote a few tickets, when they were there, presence and everything, and, got it stopped.
Got to stop in front of your residence.
The whole street.
The whole street. Fortunately, I mean, there's quite a fean burnouts there. So was it, again, we didn't have a constant presence there. It was just after action, hey, we've got issues with burnouts, calling the police, they're coming and issuing tickets. And this is, and again, I guess my line of question is the fact that this isn't the first time this occurs. This has been, every year I've been on the council, I ask it, how are we mitigating burnouts, specifically in this area? So you're saying that we'll have more police presence and shut that down before it occurs at the exit entrance?
Try to watch it more.
Try to watch it more. Try to shut it down more,
Throughout,
not
yeah.
watch it more. Yeah, gotcha.
And may I add, I noticed, you know, I saw Chief Kingston's report that came out, and obviously there were, you know, some staffing concerns as well. And I know you know, I look at Boo in the Bay Parade, we borrowed police staff from Waveland, the Sheriff's Bar, all over, kind of came together. During Cruising the Coast, that's not an option because they have other things to deal with as well. Could we reach out to Hattiesburg or, you know, reach out to other areas in the state?
They reach out to reciprocating cities that you know, we do. But again, it's from Pascagoula to Bay St. Louis. There's not a lot of extra officers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I know during that time.
As we grow and
everyone's
fill
busy.
our positions and all, we'll have more on the streets.
On the streets too.
Would this be an instance, because I know based on the continuous presence of the 24 hours, based on what Chief Alvin said, daily coverage, would this be an instance where ABC would come in, we could call them, because I know that was discussed on the Boo Parade. Would this not warrant that same level of?
Would if they're available to come.
But they,
They deal with alcohol. This has nothing to do with ATF or ABC.
No less than what the Halloween parade. Again, you hope that you don't have individuals that are driving that are underage drinking. So I think it's actually more relevant than the Boo Parade. So I think having an increased presence there for ABC to be there to ensure that doesn't occur would be a, you know, again, just based on what police chief said, that it's, you know, they've got all hands on deck, having any kind of additional, and I think again, what also said to the medical response units, you know, having a better plan, because I think there were some occurrences that weren't handled in a timely manner. So having a better coordination with EMT, the fire department. But yeah, it sounds like really any hands on deck, to Jordan's point of how we can help try to mitigate some of this. Because it sounds like, our police can't be everywhere at once, but they're all hands on deck on this. And there still seems to be an issue with, obviously, the safety of the burnouts. Because we're not sanctioned to have those, right, in the city.
And I would see if we could build a relationship with, I guess, some northern bordering cities and counties other than just the coast, because during Cruising the Coast, they're all hands on deck as well. I'm sure they have struggles as well. Because in addition to these, I've seen burnouts in multiple places throughout. The foot of the bridge is burned out pretty well right now too. So, you know, I think bringing more police in, I don't think ABC is the answer to that, but maybe.
No, and I just brought that up because that was discussed earlier about it coming to the Boo Parade. Which seems almost relevant.
You know, I feel like more fitting that they came for Boo because it's kids and adults mixing in the area. Which I know there's kids that come to Cruising the Coast, but it's a primarily, middle-aged adult event versus Boo in the Bay that's targeted specifically to kids, teenagers who are around the bars down there. So I think it's more just like a Mardi Gras parade. It makes more sense for them to be there for that. But I do think we need to bring more police in, or if we hire people, it won't be a concern. But other than, trying to rely on the bordering and along the coast, maybe we can find some people to help prevent this and mitigate it. So,
how does that work with our part-timers at the sheriff's office with the county? Could they technically do this as a detail?
Sure.
Or would that come out of our budget?
No, the sheriff's pretty good about loaning.
I think the sheriff,
Very
I
well.
think the
Waveland,
sheriff just
you know.
sends. And I think the issue that you have with your northern departments, as we all know and have all seen over the last few years, everybody is short on police staffing. So I think that's the issue that we get in. And in fact, it's just coincidence. I was talking with I'm not even exactly sure where she was at in the state, but I was dealing with another city issue during Cruising the Coast, and I had to speak with a law enforcement up around the Jackson area. And she actually mentioned, yeah, we used to go down and help, but we're shorthanded and we can't do it anymore. And so I think it's
right
end-to-end coast.
practically all police
having-
departments are shorthanded. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, it's horrible right
And you
now.
have to have the interlocal agreements and all of that into place, so I think that's been your problem with that.
Sounds like we have a plan where to look at next year based on what Mike, what you had mentioned of, having more presence on the corner of Main and Nikkei's. So I understand that was an issue this year, right?
And if I'm not mistaken, the prior year, it was barricaded off, so you can only have one lane of travel in front of Main at one point. So that's something that we can possibly do, and that way you won't have people, say, burning out from that corner down to St. Francis and Dunbar area. Just block it with a barricade.
Yeah, sometimes they'll block the corner of, St. Francis right there where just local coming through, try to slow traffic down, going down Main Street, detour them around the other way down to Motley and, you know, or down, Estabrook, St. John, any of those streets.
Right, but of course, there's just one street out of the
Mhm.
many
Sure.
that we have.
And I think one of the issues from an economic development standpoint is if you route them straight back out to the highway to go around, you bypass all of your gas stations. So like when they're leaving, if they need to stop
Yeah,
and
the
fill
problem
up.
is when they take a right in some of those streets, you know, they'll detour them sometimes on Toomey Street, but then they go through them narrow streets and in the neighborhoods not knowing where they're going and causes a cluster in those areas.
Is there parking all over the place also?
Yeah, I think, the chief last year, or going into this year, he looked at reversing the route for added cars to the beach, where it would go all the way to the bridge just about. That's still, you know, an option with that, to reverse it.
Any other council business?
I have some, but I'm tired. So we have volunteers for the depot for the bottom half when the trains are coming, correct? Through, we have volunteers for the depot, the bottom half when the trains are coming, the morning shifts and evening shifts, correct? With
There is now.
Yes. I know there's been some correspondence and some problems. Do you have like, or planning to give us like more detailed information on how that's running or,
The train?
well, the volunteers
Yeah.
for the time being, I guess?
I know they're out there each morning, each evening. Some of the concerns right now, our fire department goes around locking up bathrooms. They try to get there. Sometimes they get around too early and lock it for the evening train. So we're looking at, we have an opening where we might have someone come in and start working those details to all our bathrooms, where they would go clean them every evening, lock them up, and then unlock on weekend mornings and all. Lights, for some reason, lights on the back there. Was report they not working. I'm gonna go ride by on the way back and see if they on back there to see if they're just a breaker was thrown or whatever on that. Ronnie and them was supposed to try to get it checked out. So we'll check that out and all, but I think it's going good. Waiting on a report from Amtrak as far as how many's getting off and how many's getting on. You know, my concern is we're sending more people out than people coming.
I think it would help if the fire department's still gonna be over it, if they wait till maybe 7 o'clock to start closing them, 'cause
The
especially
thing is,
with
they
the
do it when they
parks
got an
too.
opportunity to do it in the evenings, you know, and, you know, you still got pickleball going on over there.
Right, that's what I was about to say. They don't usually leave till about 8 from the parks.
But it's hard, you know, to sit there and pinpoint it, you know, it's when they get an opportunity to go. So we're looking at opportunities to maybe bring in somebody that can do that as a part-time basis, or even if we have to outsource it out. I know the county has, I forgot who that is, that goes around and cleans that bathroom each evening.
The county
and
has,
locks them up.
they've outsourced that, and it's not very expensive for the service that you're getting. They lock them up and clean them, I believe.
Yes.
And I think the city of Woodland may be looking at doing this, the same.
And by chance, did we get the drive-through fixed for utilities?
No.
Still not?
I don't know what it is, but I do know, because I asked Linda today about it, it's still down.
Just one thing, Mayor, I noticed they were doing some of the scoping and camera work on Third Street and some of those washouts and where there's definitely areas where it's caving in. Will Jason be here next meeting, or somebody be able to kind of discuss what the report is? That can be included in the ARPA sewage, because I know
Yeah,
there's.
we'll get a report on that, and, you know, I think they still think that's a lateral down there, some laterals instead of the main lines, either that or it's in the, manhole itself when they cleaned it. Something might have got blown
Would the
out.
lateral still be included in the ARPA?
We can go back, if it's too deep for us to repair anything like that, then we'll go back and include it in. our-
Okay, I just was making sure, if it wasn't part of the main line, you can still put that in. if
Same
it's a
thing,
lateral.
that's on, Valentine, that one there was a.
Yeah, that was lateral.
back
Okay,
there.
all right.
They went back and got in charge to ARPA.
Gotcha, fair enough. Okay, thank you. That's all I've got, Jordan.
Yeah, perfect. I have, or I'll go down the line. I'll go.
Just, I turned in a report for a pothole on Bienville. Kudos to the workers. They were out there today doing everything that they, I mean, it's looking good. So just A+ to the city workers.
Is that on the corner, on the corner there?
Corner of LaSalle and Bienville.
My concerns have already been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. I have three quick things. The first thing is I just want to say a thank you to Mr. Ronnie Vanny. I went to the Family Dollar about 9:30 one night, and he was out in a manhole or fixing a lift station. So I just want to thank you. I know it's his job, but I mean, that's going above and beyond a little bit right there. So I just wanted to put that out there and thank him for that. Also, I wanted to type up a recap of the Alice Mosley workshop so I could spread it amongst everyone. Watching back on the meeting, I know there was a lot of things that may or may not have been unclear. So I just kind of wanted to give a rundown of my understanding and make sure we're all on the same page. In the event that we receive updated requests and information from Alice Mosley, we were going to consider to lease the whole top floor in the entirety, 4,006 square foot at $5 a square feet. There was some discussion on the maintenance. How would that be handled? That was more of the area I had, kind of the gray area. Do we want to stick to basic maintenance on them? Just because I'm getting calls about it, saying, hey, in the event it goes through, I know the city's going to have to negotiate it, and what would the utility rate be? Just kind of wanted to get an idea of where we were on that in the event they do produce the requested documents. Is that kind of what we were thinking? $5 whole top floor, responsible for the basic maintenance. We'll outline it. And they're also responsible for the utilities and property tax, and then the city will.
Property tax may not be.
May not be a thing, so.
If,
Because they're a museum,
cause of the museum.
considered educational purposes.
And then we'll handle the.
$5, I'm not sure, I think the chamber's $6.50 right now.
Right now?
Right.
Chamber's in a residential neighborhood. That's residential, this is prime commercial property.
Commercial.
So what's the
Should be
value
higher.
of that compared to a residential?
It should be higher.
So I think we just need to put a proposal out there, put it there, and upstairs is 4,000 square feet. I think it should be leased as a whole. And
That's done.
downstairs, or put the whole thing out one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I think, again, we went and looked at Biloxi over there, some things they did it in the building they got over there where I guess it's the art community went in and have a building and at least wall space, say 6 foot of wall space. $50 for 6 feet. However many people are in it, that's their rotation. They have to come sit in there a day. If they don't, they pay their fee to have someone cover their rotation. Then it would be open, 7 days a week, year round. The options, people, talked about some of the things. We went and visited to see what other people do in some of their buildings. Pascagoula had a very similar situation in, maybe it was their depot. I think that it's sold and it's turning into a brewery now. So that one over there is moving somewhere else, I'm not sure, but they had the same setup over there. So there's options, again, people, you got a restaurant coming in, look, nobody's coming in and spending hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s to renovate this building into a restaurant for a 3 or 4 year short-term lease. It's just not gonna happen.
No,
You know,
I agree.
So, you know, when we think what can go in there, we need to find something that'll fit in there, that's, I guess the impact of the building is not a hard impact where, you know, just.
Have we
in and
received the
out.
financials yet?
So I have not received the
No.
updated 990 information.
From the foundation?
So the foundation, I haven't received anything from them, but as far as, I know one of the concerns was receiving we got the financials that had 48,000 and some change, and then it had,
Correct.
we were informed that they had 17,500 in grants that were not recorded. So I know that one ask was to get on good standing with the IRS. So in the event they do produce all this, you know, we had our workshop, you know, just trying to see what came out of it. So I didn't want it to be a waste of time, you know, sitting there going back and forth and nothing come out of it. So I went back and I watched it, and it looked like we came up with what we would consider approving if it was presented was $5,000 at 4,000, or $5 a square foot at 4,006 square foot. The maintenance was up for discussion. If we take on the basic maintenance, we can outline that. I know this is all premature until we get that information, but I just wanted to be able to tell when someone calls me and says, "Hey, what came out of the workshop?" I want to tell them.
So how long do
we're
we,
waiting
keep waiting or
keep waiting.
keep
We need a ti-
requesting info?
We need a time limit on this, and we also need to realize and take note of the fact that the Alice Latimer Mosley Museum Foundation had a cease and desist order issued in June 23rd of 2025. So that foundation no longer exists.
I believe some
And they-
clarification was sent in on that. I haven't had a chance to.
They have filed no 990s in 3 years.
So,
We have the paperwork on that.
so whenever, if and when we do get updated information, I mean, do we want to give a timeline on how long we wait? Or do we want to give them time and then give them a notice towards then,
Next month.
next month?
Yeah.
Go through our.
God knows they've been in there for.
Yeah, go through our chamber workshop, and the next meeting we can set something once we have everything. Okay, perfect. I also had one more thing, not to just talk about the nonprofits and charities. I know we set aside $1,000 this year for charity, and I know we had one person come present to us, which was CASA. You know, if the council would be all right, I don't know if we want to, you know, being they were the only ones and we wouldn't have budgeted that amount if they didn't come to our meeting. Do we want to reach out to them and ask them for the required documents to be eligible for that, to where we can start the process on that? I mean, we budgeted. Are we okay with that being the nonprofit for this year, being they were the only one that came?
I'm good with
Just-
that.
Good with that? I mean, any other discussion?
I know, I've been approached by Crime Stoppers for more than what we have already allocated through their agreement, but other
Mostly
than
the
that,
ticketing system.
right,
Yeah.
I think they get like a dollar or so.
Increased it maybe 2, maybe last year, so.
Yeah, right, you're correct. But other than that, like I said, CASA and them, there's only 2 that
Alba, we'll look into two to see, because I know we gave Crime Stoppers a raise a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's
that
what
state
Kyle's
law
was saying.
Yeah.
allowed, so remind me, let's look and see if that statute's changed, to see if we're maxed out or if we have any more wiggle room.
We might be added to the tickets.
Because that Crime Stoppers, the way we pay them right now is a fine specifically addressed through a ticket. So if we have any money left on the table, I think we maxed it out, but if there is money left on the table, if the laws change, that may be something to consider. Because then it's just a pass-through.
And if y'all are okay, I mean, I don't know that we need to call for a motion, but I'll maybe reach out to CASA and ask them to submit the documents that we're gonna request, and also kind of find a mechanism to where maybe they can tell us, I know it's a small amount, it's $1,000, but maybe they can tell us how it was used and how it benefited them. That way we know where taxpayer money went. But if everyone's okay with it, I'll just reach out to her and
Sure.
you know, start that process.
Good.
Any other discussion?
No.
Should I make a motion to reach out, or I think it's,
I think that's unnecessary.
okay. City clerk's report, or project updates, there's none. City clerk's report. I will call for a motion to approve the docket of claims 25-054 and the amount of $656,389.42 dated October 21st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Davis, second.
Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 23, motion to approve the docket.
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm rolling.
You can roll with it now.
Okay. Councilwoman Holmes left the meeting at 7:40. Motion to approve the docket of claims 25-057 special dated October 21st, 2025, in the amount of $132. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Lewis. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 4-0. Councilwoman Holmes entered the room at 7:40. The consent agenda, does anybody have any issues or questions with the way it is presented?
That goes to what number?
Through 48.
48.
Oh, we're gonna question for call.
The 4 police cars were budgeted, correct?
Yes.
I thought so, okay. Okay, if there's no questions about the consent agenda, I will call
Hold
for a.
on, I got a
Oh,
question.
you got a
I think.
question?
Yeah, with payroll.
Okay.
It might be a typo, but I was just noticing through payroll with our individual pay, it's like one of them has like a penny more. Is that?
A penny?
Yeah, it's really just a penny more than the
Who got
norm.
paid more?
Someone, is that a typo or?
Where's it?
Or are you looking at the,
Council?
Yeah, council pay.
Who got paid more?
Well, you know, you're
Who's getting bribed?
Well, you just
that
said it.
what 12
You
cents?
just said it.
Yeah.
That 24 cents a year. But I just wonder if that was just a typo.
I'm looking at it.
I don't know, I'd check and see.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, it may be a typo. Yeah, most. So
Larry.
yeah,
I don't want to call
Oh, you
anybody
mean
out
You mean I'm getting 24 cents more?
a
No,
year.
yeah.
Oh, it's because I'm senior citizen discount.
Yeah, it's literally just a penny. But it's like, is that a typo that needs to be fixed or?
Yeah, but mine shouldn't be the same.
Yours is last year.
maybe that's at large.
yours is
money.
different.
Yeah, really. I'll give 'em- I'll donate a quarter.
Then we'll owe you 24 cents.
Good-
I'd rather catch
good
it
catch.
now than.
I thought he was getting paid too. Thank you. I guess we'll look in to see if that's a typo or not. New Councilman Smith wasn't gonna report that.
Oh, no.
I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a
Motion.
motion? Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Holmes. Any discussion?
Minus the penny.
Okay, minus the penny. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 5-0. Attorney's report.
oh, where were we? We just have the follow-up on that Mississippi State Solicitation Act, to see if y'all had any more comments on that. I think we were supposed to probably get you some documents, which we don't have. I had a health issue last week that kept me out of work, but, didn't know if there was any more feedback as to what direction you guys were wanting to go on that before we spent a significant amount of time drafting ordinances that aren't needed.
What was the deadline, Heather, on this? Making this opt out?
The end of the year.
End of the year. Gotcha.
Yeah. And again, our recommendation from a legal standpoint is I don't see the reason for Bay St. Louis to be the guinea pig and involved in some sort of constitutional lawsuit, because I just don't see any of these. This isn't a pressing issue right now here. So, I mean, we have a couple of, issues in the city, but other than that, I don't think it's worth getting you guys tied up into litigation, but
Thank
it's just my legal opinion.
Yes, we'll table it. If they have any questions or concerns, we'll send them to you?
Yes, please
And
do,
bring it over.
because that would be helpful.
Okay.
You can email them directly to me or JD and I. We're happy to help you.
Thank you, Ms. Heather.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Okay. Moving on to executive session. Any need? No?
Nothing on our end.
I will call for a motion to adjourn the meeting of October 21st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Davis. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Meeting adjourned.
Just hit me.